Hello! I started recording.
Okay.
Welcome. Oh! What a good opening.
Alright. Hey, I'm back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We're going right off a cliff.
Oh boy.
This is a session 0. We're just going to do some character stuff. Jesse's, do you have all your... You don't have any of, like, your equipment or anything like that, right?
No, but honestly, probably the only equipment he would keep would be the two...
Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Yeah.
I don't think I even did equip.
Yeah, that's good, because that gives us something to do
You don't need
for
equipment.
this.
You're a passenger. You're the GPS. You don't need anything.
Wow, that's how mean.
Man.
I'm
getting roasted by a rat.
I could throw you out of an apartment window and nobody would question it.
I mean, they
I don't
don't,
wanna
because
get
it's
into-
happened multiple times already anyway.
I don't want to get into what exactly defines race in this setting, but that is whatever you would consider to be racism. Pretty solidly, I think.
Yeah.
It's not because you're...
Well, that's literally like calling just any regular human. Well, you're not a human. You're a GPS.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, racially motivated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm getting closer to the mic. I shouldn't do that.
Don't get closer.
I'm too. It's been a minute for me. Okay.
No, it's not okay.
So.
The stare of death.
So, I'm also going to go over some retcons. They're retcons because I think it would be less messy, and also I don't remember a lot of the stuff that I had before, and I kind of don't want to remember. I want to start a little more fresh here, a little more clean.
Like that Prince.
Huh?
What?
What?
Shut up, do your podcast.
So,
You say that like you're not also on it.
he won't be for long. Keeps that.
Oh.
First character death? Question mark.
No,
First
no.
player death.
Oh, okay.
Like in real life.
Oh my god! Talk about a TPK.
Ugh.
So, Mazes and Monsters is a far out game. I hope somebody gets that reference. Yeah, I'm also going to be like clarifying things, I suppose, as well as defining certain elements of the setting a little bit more for you guys, and also get everything up to speed because, hey, boom, bam, pow, there's a time jump that we're dealing with. It's like time's nebulous. It's like a month or two.
Time is a weird soup.
Yeah.
Time is a weird soup. Boy, we're just stealing bits from other podcasts.
We're going fast forward. Not all is going to work, but sure, okay.
Time is a wet sock that slaps onto the ground.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Ugh.
There's no timeline. Why? Because time is made out
Yeah,
of circles.
circles. Yeah. All right, okay. So, what should we start with? Well, I think everybody requires equipment of some kind. You guys have been on the planet for a little while, roughly a month or so. You're settled in at this point. All of you guys have jobs that you've been working a little bit, and some of you have made friends. One of you has made an enemy.
Dun, dun, dun.
And yeah. So I guess we'll go down the line here, at least for me, the line. So Nade has found her true calling in the grabbing people and removing them from one location and bringing them to another location, dead or alive.
Yeah, I prefer the first one. If they're alive, they squirm too much.
I can bring you in cold, or I can bring you in cold.
The deep
I prefer the
freeze.
first one. What? What does that mean?
Huh?
What did I say?
What's the difference? Who are you?
I
Yeah.
have all my stuff.
Yeah, you're pretty much all set. I mean, unless you want other things.
No.
As far as like money goes, like the credits that you guys get, it's roughly equivalent to like 5e gold. So like one credit is like a decent amount of of money. Like you could.
Did you open up the DM's tools that I made?
No, I did not.
Pretty sure because there's a chart there that shows like.
Wow. Okay. Well, what's going on here? He's walking around.
I'm getting a pencil.
How
Get me one.
dare you?
There's no pencil for you.
Where are they? Help! Help!
It should be on Firefox.
Nice.
On
Hell
Firefox.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm the best.
Was
I see.
Firefox on?
See.
Okay.
Ugh. I don't have any credits listed, and I don't know if that's because I spent every credit or if I just
Probably
didn't put
knowing
it down.
you.
Well, I mean, I feel like it'd be fair.
You are the definition of living paycheck to paycheck.
I blow my money on my gambling and drinking.
It's not that you
Rockets.
necessarily blow your money as much as it is for someone with your interest. There's nothing else to spend money on.
I buy a rocket every paycheck, and it takes 3/4
yeah.
of the paycheck. I could list the shit I have.
Well, also, we were using eternity money anyway.
Yeah. The eternity money was like, it was only for the ship. Oh yeah, another thing. So the eternity has been. So the eternity had 4 what are get referred to as spires. They're essentially like shuttles that can fit. Like close to like 120 people on them. And they're how people get from a planet to the Eternity, because the Eternity is a big ship, can't really go into atmosphere. So you guys only took 1 down to get to this planet, and Francis Wilson done stole one of the other ones. So the ship had 4. One of them is currently missing, so it's only got 3. In the time that you guys have been here, the crew that was set up to kind of just dismantle all of the stuff that Fish doesn't own on the Eternity, they have been using all 3 shuttles. So all 3 shuttles are on the planet, more or less. They've been using them to kind of haul and sell or give back a bunch of stuff. The planet that you guys are on also, it doesn't really have a name because it's the middle of nowhere for the middle of nowhere. That being said, surprisingly, and this just goes to the testament of how many races there are out there and how big space really is, there's actually a decent amount of traffic this place gets, but it's almost like every time a ship comes in, it's from some federation you've never heard of. No one else on the planet has ever heard of it before, and like it's a who's who of sci-fi things. Most people don't stay because there's no reason to stay unless they have to or they want to. Which, I mean, if you like this kind of place, you like this kind of place. Nate, you also have a sand speeder. You okay?
No.
Yeah. I'm dying, though.
It happens. It happens to
Choking
the best
on
of
a
us. My plan
McDonald's
is
French fry.
It happens
plan
to
is
all
coming
of us.
together.
Yeah. I have a hover cycle. It
Yeah,
has
yeah,
a speed of 2, an armor of 3, and an HP of 10.
yeah.
Whoa. 10 is pretty high for this game.
So this thing has essentially like hydroplanes the sand.
Uh-huh.
So it's got like a fin that goes down into the sand, and
Whoa.
then it spreads out. And so when you're sitting, the bike kind of like is almost held up a little bit by this fin, but when you start to take off, it raises up, and so you're hovering a good ways off the ground. You've got this fin in the sand.
That's kick-ass.
And it's got a sidecar on it for your partner in the opposite of crime.
In the crime-getting.
The crime grabbers.
Nate, what you fucking gets you?
Techno.
Yes.
Being the more responsible one, you've got some money saved up, I imagine.
Yeah.
And
Techno,
probably,
I imagine, is pretty conservative.
yeah, you probably figured some way of like, okay, we need a place to store the sand speeder thingy, so we'll rent out a garage, and then we'll turn it into a garage / apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. Nate absolutely, like, one day came back to, like, the communal apartment we had for a few weeks. I was like, hey guys, look at this. I got this cool fucking speeder. Now, when I chase dudes, I don't have to run across the stupid sand.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the fuck is what?
Why did you buy this?
Where did you put it? I put it down there next to a stop sign and taped it there.
Taped it there.
You know, that would be the main answer.
So your speeder is probably the only your speeder is the only like vehicle that you guys have that can travel outside of town. But Fish, your little cart that you bought on the Eternity, you own, and has been taken down, and you can drive around your little buggy cart within the town. Here's the problem, though. The town is messy. So there's one main road that goes through the town, but the rest of it, like as soon as you go off that main road, it's like if you took a map from, like a downloaded map from one game and then a downloaded map from that same game, and you put them in together. So like things just don't kind of fit right, and stuff is like at weird angles, nothing's planned. Like someone opens their door and they're facing the corner of another building, and they've got like a foot of space between them, and that's just the way things are. Like to get like, oh, Main Street is like in between these alleys, and then you turn left and there's this big arch that you walk through, and it's like, oh, that's where Town Square is, and that's the only way to get in there. It's a chaotic mess of like whoever initially settled here built the town to be Old West style, main thoroughfare, and that's all they did, and they were like, everyone else can do what they want, and people just anywhere they could fit anything, they decided to put stuff.
For the speeder in town and on hard surfaces, I'm thinking like, I imagine that my motorcycle has a kickstand for the fin, because it wouldn't go on hard surfaces very well.
Yeah, it doesn't really go on hard surfaces very well.
Unless I kick the fin up, and then I could just hover on it.
Yeah, there's a small, like, it does hover. It is a hover bike.
Yes.
But
It goes faster.
It doesn't-
It turns more sharply.
yeah, it doesn't work well on the sand. But when you get to the harder surface that the town is built on, it will work. So the fin kind of folds up back, and so it's like sticking out the back of the bike.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to attempt to cut someone's head off with that thing.
Hey, if you pull it off, you pull it off. The people in the town probably love it.
Yeah. Hey guys, check this shit out, and then go after some passerby.
Yeah.
I'm about to kill this fucking nerd with the fin.
The hard part has been the rotating.
Yeah.
Like you have the whole thing planned out where you'd go. Like, okay, if they're standing there's this ramp that I can hit that'll get me enough air. But the hard part is rotating.
Yeah.
Especially if Techno's in there too.
Yeah.
But Techno, you're the guy in the chair.
That's right.
You handle all of the technological side of things. You've also been able to work. You've had time to work on you
as a person.
as a person, but also physically, because you have connections thanks to where. I don't know whether to call
Willis.
you Willis or Ace. Willis.
Who am I?
Who are you?
We already went through this.
Yeah, Willis has landed a sweet job because he works at a robotics salvage, like junkyard, basically. It's an internal. It's like an interior, not internal. It's an interior junkyard.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest buildings in the town, and it's just wide. It's not tall. There's no like levels or anything to it. And when you walk inside, it seems like it's just a chaotic mess. But Willis, you've spent enough time here that you've come to realize that okay, it's not just a chaotic mess. There's a method to the madness, and that's because the place is run by Tessa,
Okay.
who is a giant snake lady.
Nice.
And when I say snake lady, I mean just she is female but is a giant snake. She kind of has like her head is like kind of dragon-y shaped, like dragon snake shaped.
It's the bad guy from Ringo, but a girl.
I guess. She has these metal, almost like spinal column, like vertebrae that go along her entire body, and like every other one has about like 6 robotic arms that
I
can
love
freely
her.
rotate. And so she just kind of snakes her way through this place while the arms are constantly doing things.
That's awesome.
She's very big. She's the biggest thing there. She's kind of like the attraction for a lot of like people like xenophiles and stuff like that who just want to see aliens. It's like, oh hey, take a look at this thing.
Well, show me what those arms do.
Yeah.
Right?
So she's hired Willis because Willis is so small. Because despite she's real big, she can reach just about everything, but there is obviously nooks and crannies of this place that she can't get to, and most people around here are also just too big to get into there. But you're small and you know your way around machines. And she doesn't specialize with just any technology, it's purely robotics. So anything that can be considered like a robot. And she's very old, and is like a nice grandma who rather than baking you apple pie, gives you free access to some like smaller parts and stuff like
Nice.
that. And if any of you guys need like a place to crash or anything like that, you're welcome to. But it's very loud there because anytime she moves, she makes a ton of noise.
Oh, I see you're running from the police again.
Yes,
Here
yes.
is this laser pistol I put
Exactly-
together. Crash in
exactly
the back
that.
room with it aimed at the door.
I love her.
It's
I'm just-
exactly that kind
I'm
of
just
stuff.
imagining that scenario happening, and Willis is just like working on a drone project, sees Nate.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Get out! No! No!
Oh, don't act like that. Nate, you're welcome in here anytime.
Last time I found a rocket on the floor.
Yeah, she would definitely give you a rocket if you found one.
Fuck yeah.
Like if you
like
just
that.
found a rocket in there, or like Will's found a rocket in there, and like this is a rocket that isn't functioning. Why is it in here? Oh, it had an AI in it at one point or something.
No.
And it's long gone. She would totally just give that to you.
Hell yeah.
See, Willis would see that and be like, oh no, they want this. Nope, it just casually play it like on a
Yeah,
shelf somewhere
yeah.
that it would never be seen. And then Nate would pop up and be like, hey,
Like if you guys have like projects that you wanted to work on of like, oh hey, I want to customize my bike to look like super cool. I want to put spikes on it, or I want like
I don't want spikes on me.
yeah, like she'd be all for it, and
could-
she would willingly help you achieve
Make myself
that
a
goal.
porcupine.
Nate adds a spike to the back of the car, so when I spin around, I stick someone with the spike, and then the fin comes out and cuts in.
It's just getting this one kill is becoming more and more elaborate.
when did we enter the Mad Max universe? I just
Oh,
want to
Lord.
ask.
When you landed on this planet,
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And if it wasn't Mad Max before, Nate has definitely geared it way more
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
it.
So yeah, Nade, you pretty much answer to mostly you answer to Sheriff Colt. Colt. And his nephew, who's the deputy, is named Cody.
Okay.
There's no
Sweet
nepotism
life
here
of
at all.
Colt and
Yes,
Cody.
there's Colt and Cody. They're the only ones that like are considered law there, just because Colt is like a well experienced in dealing with people like this, combat and otherwise. Probably was a pirate back in the day or something like that, or maybe a mass murderer, or maybe he worked as like a general for some fleet. Who knows? He doesn't.
Maybe he committed genocide. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be anything.
Or maybe he was actually a comic.
You probably theorize that it's more so has to do with the fact that newcomers, see that everyone respects him, so they just automatically start to respect him too, and that's just the way it is. So like, enough time has passed on the planet where people just kind of don't really know why he's the sheriff, but he's the sheriff, and you gotta do what the sheriff says. And also, it's no fun to break laws if there are no laws to break. So, but in reality, he does kind of keep everything
Semi-okay.
Semi-okay, yeah. There's also Murphy, who is the Goblin Lady engineer, who is kind of runs the dock, and then also is heading the project of dismantling the Eternity. And she's been kind enough to, whenever she has time, to like let you guys know, like, what stage has happened, what's still left, what isn't. For the most part, the ship it hasn't reduced in size, except for the fact that pretty much two of the rings that go around the back end of the Eternity are gone. So it's basically like the ship looks like a bar of soap with a ring around the back end. It's becoming more and more apparent that this thing is like just gonna be darn near empty, which is good because it means you guys can do whatever the hell you want with it, and it's basically a small city that you have free reign to design. Well, Fish has free reign.
Time to play SimCity.
Which brings us to Fish, who is decided the minute that you guys had freedom to and decide, well, I guess we're going to be here for a while, we should probably get jobs. Fish knew, I need to get into a position of power. Where is the power in a place like this? It's where the money is. So Fish made there was like 3 or 4 nights of Fish like just planning and like explaining to you guys her whole plan as how to essentially become the richest person here and like run the bank. So currently, Fish is a teller at the bank and has not moved up the ladder an iota. It is a dead end job, and Fish is miserable. She gets to handle, assumed that she would get to handle credits, doesn't actually get to handle credits, basically kind of just like helps old people use the kiosk. And like locks up at night, maybe, if she works at night. So that's like more or less where all of you guys are at. Yeah. Another thing. So that is important for all of you guys to know. Since you've been here and you have like some recollection of this kind of thing, but everyone refers to Tessa, or at least not everyone, but like people who don't know her, people that are just like passersby or like the general rabble of the town, refer to her as a psychocell, which it's like, that sounds familiar, what is that? And you've had it explained to you once or twice, but essentially in the setting here, magic is a 5th dimensional element of your DNA or your genetic makeup. The best way to explain it would be like, okay, there's what we can perceive as far as what the genetic makeup of someone is, and we have, I say we, but so the universe has discovered there is like a fifth dimensional aspect, like more to your DNA that you can't perceive, and that is how things that would be considered magic happen.
Yeah.
So so like this is an example. If someone, a human, were to create a fireball, they are effectively flexing a muscle that they are completely unaware that they have.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. And that action that's happening in this non-perceived dimension is causing an effect that is perceivable, like fire. And the more of something's genetic makeup, he's immediately. The standard like consideration of magic, as far as like how we as real people would consider something, deem it as magic, comes from something being closer to having a humanoid figure. So, like, all of you guys are humanoid.
I'm green.
Well, yeah, but you're still
Yeah.
you're still humanoid, so you're closer towards like a rough human shape, which means your genetic makeup, you have access to these cells that, or the this DNA, these cells, all those stuff that like allows you to cause things like fireballs, or in Techno's case, magic missiles and stuff like that. But there are considered higher level beings that have more of their, effectively their brains or aspects of them that are made up more out of these fifth dimensional cells, that their definition of magic can be like weird stuff. And because it's dealing with imperceivable aspects of things, people around them, when they start to use this stuff, kind of go crazy. So they're deemed psychocells. They're a rarity. There are lots and lots of groups.
So what you're saying is Cthulhu is a psychocell.
Yes. Cthulhu is almost made up entirely of these psychocells. So Tessa is considered one of these. More of her brain is like made up out of this unperceivable. My brain is melting.
Fair enough.
It's made up out of these cells, and she doesn't do magic. Rarely ever. And if she did, you probably wouldn't know it. But you could probably theorize that she probably doesn't. You theorize that she probably uses it in conjunction with the robotics that she uses, like warping reality to have robotic things work when they shouldn't. The example that I'll give for it is like electricity passing, like taking the path of least resistance through something. She could force that electricity to take a different path, and it'll take that path, and it will always take that path. And like that's the kind of like you start getting the more psychocells something is made up out of, the more it can start to, with the things around it, warp reality and make you go crazy potentially. So yeah, some people refer to her as that. She doesn't really think anything of it, but yeah, there are people that like to go out and look for these kinds of creatures and either study them, or there are some groups that want to kill them because they think they're too dangerous. But that's where magic comes from in the setting and
That's
the universe.
really cool. I feel like we should probably mention that we are not playing Starfinder anymore.
Yeah,
We did
yeah.
talk about it in Market Crash, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, we are using Stars Without Number, and Tom has graciously made a bunch of useful tools for it. And
It's working for you.
Yes.
And for me, actually.
Oh, nice.
This is the one I posted in, the last one I posted in Discord. So, if you open it in a browser, it should work.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions or anything? Or does anybody want to make requests or anything? Like, Jesse, do you want, like, anything with your drone?
Well, I mean, obviously, given the time I had, I'd definitely get outfit the drone with a weapon.
Okay.
So, like,
What kind of weapon would you want?
probably. I don't think I would do anything like ridiculous. It probably would just be either something simple to like similar to the pistols I had near the end of our last campaign. They're the like semi-auto pistol or whatever. Not semi-auto.
Okay.
They're like they were like the Glocks essentially is what I got.
Okay. So like a tech level 2 weapon on there.
Not, like it's whatever we had off the Eternity if they let us keep it.
Yeah, well, like anything you bought on the Eternity is like technically so.
As far as that's concerned, pretty much the only thing that I would say is maybe I may or may not have cowboy hat now.
All right.
Or a fedora.
I don't know about a fedora. I don't think anyone here would be selling
Fair
fedoras.
enough. Cowboy hat then.
You've got like an Aussie style cowboy hat with one side is pinned up and you've got a little tooth that holds it there.
Fair enough. And then probably the last state is like when I'm working, I have like these big, like goggles, you know.
All right, write those down, man. They're yours.
Yeah.
You got it.
But that's basically
Hat, goggles. You probably also have some like
I
toolkit of
Yeah.
some kind. Yeah, you guys also. So, Fish has a place to stay that's like big enough for all of you, like just big enough for all of you. So like if Nade and Techno aren't at the garage, that's probably where you guys would stay. And it's kind of like
So I would have walled off like a very small, almost claustrophobic little spot that's like my quote-unquote bedroom, but it's
Yeah.
just like a niche in the wall.
Harry Potter.
No, not so much like that. More like I took a window that was like only opened to a.
I'm thinking more like Futurama, where Bender's apartment, it's literally just like a little cube. And then if you go in the closet, it's like an actual room.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like there's a window to this building that opens up to like the roof of another building, and there's like part of a wall of something else there. And
Yeah.
you boarded up one thing, and so it's like technically not part of the property, but hey, no.
It's more like
Unless you tell.
It's more like I live on a windowsill.
Yeah.
I don't need much space. I haven't bought almost any equipment because I've been exploring my powers, and
Which is another thing that again, like your I want to call it a moat, but since we're not using
well, it's I still have it. It's still in
yeah, your little star. That is a source of magic.
Yeah. Although, well, it depends on how you want to play it, because like it's not magic in the sense of how things are, because it's psionics.
Well, remember,
But yeah.
magic in terms of how we deem it, and magic is in terms of how it actually is affected it's a relative thing. So the way in which this little moat interacts with this imperceivable dimension, it has these psionic, what you'd classify as psionic effects.
Yeah.
Techno, you definitely have some computer stuff set up.
Just as of note, with my powers, what I've I've basically figured out that I can use my powers to substitute most equipment needs that I might have, and so I haven't really bought like weapons.
Nice.
So you've been spending most of your money. Well,
I've
you've
not been spending my
Yeah,
money.
you've been hoarding your money.
Yes.
And every now and
My
again, you'll
power.
go to the market and buy like the bare minimum of essentials.
Ramen.
Yeah, space ramen.
I imagine like,
Spawn.
Yeah.
Techno. I imagine that Techno and Nade's garage / workshop / apartment
Yeah.
thing is like there's the vehicle area with just her like mechanical stuff for the bike and everything, and then the immediate like right side is just like weapons and parts and just like half of it is like some gun maniacs wet dream
Yeah.
style.
So Cabela's customers.
Yeah, and then the other half is like, you know how like hackers look in 80s movies where they have just computers and just
Yeah.
like
old
random shit
monitors
everywhere?
on top of old monitors
Yeah.
and like
And
4 keyboards.
One's
and
got a
two
crack
mice.
in it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like, I don't even know what this is. This is just a rectangle that has a shit ton of buttons on it and lights
A
up.
triangular monitor.
This is an
Yeah.
operator from the Matrix. Got
Yeah,
it.
I imagine if you like combine those two and have that to be like an entire like smallish room connected to a garage, that's what their area
That is
looks
quite
like.
the sight.
And Nate probably just passes out on a couch.
Yeah, you got, it's like you walk out into the street, like there's a couch over there, let's take that.
Uh-huh. There's definitely like, you know, the shitty garage fridge that all
Yeah.
dads have, and
And
like,
there, so I've got some names for things. There's probably like bottles of the different like, alcohols that are
Uh-huh.
common here.
what's a hard alcohol that name's like?
So I've got
Like the whiskey equivalent.
the whiskey equivalent would probably be like either a bitter bite or the juice.
Juice.
Nice.
Tell me more about
Um,
the juice.
I feel like Nate would drink it just because it's called the juice.
So okay, here's
But
here's
she
some
wants
of
to
the
be
here's some of the
back.
drink names that you guys commonly see in the area. There's bitter bite, which is like your whiskey / beer kind of like everywhere has bitter bite. It's probably made on planet. Then there's the juice, which is like bathtub vodka, like moonshine stuff, but it's good. Then there's drink, which is like anything. It's something that's like you can't. No one on the planet can pinpoint what it is,
It's mystery
but it makes you
flavored.
drunk. And it's drink. So if you go into a bar and you just order drink, you'll get this stuff. There's slug
Mystery
guts,
alcohol.
which is like a coagulated kind of like
That's Ron Weasley.
yeah, it's kind of like a Jello or like a
Jello shot.
like a yogurt. Is more
okay.
It's like a yogurt. It's like an alcoholic yogurt.
Greatest campaign ever already.
There's Bloody Shiv, which usually
You
comes
had a
in-
lot of fun
That
making
sounds
Yeah.
real. That sounds
It,
real.
it comes in a glass. It's basically a Bloody Mary, but it's made with like alien stuff that you're not sure what it is. But it's got some zing to
Space
it.
tomato.
Yeah, it's
Space
got some zing to it.
Spumado.
There's like the generic brand alcohol Galactic wine, which is like it's the only like wine like thing that's here, and it's like yeah, it's Aldi brand wine.
Salty freaking wild.
And then there's the orc drink.
Oh boy.
This is like this classic orc drink stuff. It's called Da Stuff. And it's like how like fantasy stuff would consider like dwarven ale. It's like if your body isn't ready for it, you might die.
I feel like Nate would have
and
bite.
and Da Stuff is commonly sold at the bar. the place that you would probably frequent, Nate, is the tub. Yeah. You probably went in here once and immediately left because it's like this is the generic like saloon place, and that's
She went in the tub.
Wild Willie's Wet Whistle.
Wow.
So you probably went in there once. That's like the tourist trap place.
See the name and just walk away.
Had a bounty in there. It's like, no, I'm not gonna
It's not worth it.
It's not
Oh.
worth it.
Yes.
Fish. Do you spend any time in any of these places with them?
Oh, sure, if
Okay.
I have the time.
Then in the tub there's a guy who's always there who at some point you started talking to and realized that he's like a washed up old pilot. And so he's got like tons of stories and stuff.
I'm
His
a
name's-
pilot, you know.
His name is Strings, and he's like someone that he obviously enjoys flying just as much as you do. And then
This is kind of a desert planet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I am a desert species.
Yeah.
And, like, I've not ever been in a desert, so this place is, like, unusually comfortable for me.
and he's told stories about
I love sand.
yeah, he's told you stories about how this planet used to be like really good for testing, like because there's like nothing out here. There's very little stuff out here, and there's very little ground to like crash. Like, there's a higher percent chance that you might be able to salvage a ship if it crashes. But there's a ship that was out here that supposedly was the fastest thing, the most maneuverable ship ever. Like, no one had ever come close to this thing. And it was like stolen by pirates or whatever. There's a whole legend around it, and it's somewhere out there in the desert. And that's something that you find yourself at night thinking,
I want it.
I want that. I gotta find that eventually.
Now, is it just for clarification? Is it like a pilot, fighter pilot ship, or is it like a?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It was just a ship that was somehow on the planet, probably small enough to fit on the planet, and they were testing it, and it was
Probably.
It was the most.
It's the animatronic.
It was the most maneuverable and fastest thing that had ever been tested on the planet.
Okay.
And pirates showed up and took it, and no one's ever seen it since, and no one ever reported it leaving. So
The way you said it probably fit on the planet just made me imagine like a giant ship that's kind of like hanging off of the planet.
You know,
It's just
It is-
resting on
Yeah,
top
planet
of it.
is
It's
flat.
hanging off. Yeah.
right, Travis?
And this is where he dies.
yeah, and then the last character of note that you guys are familiar with is Old Grimy Gary.
Oh boy, do I want to be?
He used to be a helium miner, but he essentially went on strike. I like you like assume that he went on strike. He just left, like in the middle of his shift. He just left and flew off and came to this planet. He's a crazy old prospector, and now he takes his little mining ship.
Is his
and-
nickname Stinky Pete?
No, it's Grimy Gary. Old Grimy Gary. He's an old guy. Yeah, and there's. I think that's everything. I think you guys are mainly up to speed.
Okay.
So those are like important people that you guys are familiar with.
So I want to talk about my everyday life
Yes.
and what I
Please
do.
go, boy.
for it.
So I get up in the morning, and like for the first hour of the day, I do nothing physically. I get up and walk, but everything else is done telekinetically because I'm reveling in the fact that I have psychic powers. And so, I walk over and stare at the coffee pot until my coffee gets made, and then I walk over to the table, and then I levitate it up to take drinks and stuff like that. Then I get dressed.
That no one can see. You're not allowed to show your mouth.
Yeah. Then I get ready and go to work. And
You have a uniform that you have to wear,
yes,
because of course. It's got a hat too.
I spend all.
It does not fit your head because it was not made for your species.
It reminds me of Lego
But you
Star
have to
Wars.
wear it. It's mandatory.
Reminds me of Lego Star Wars when you're Chewbacca and you
Yeah.
put the Stormtrooper helmet on.
So I've tried to, because I was able to create the shield of light.
Yeah.
That was something I could do. So I've experimented with that, and I figured out how to make just about any object out of telekinetic force. As long as I can understand it. So, like, I can do swords. Like, I can't make a functioning, computer.
And that's the thing.
But-
It's difficult for you to do this because you are 100% doing this blind.
Yeah.
Like, you have no way physically of knowing what's happening that causes this stuff to happen. You just know that, okay, I've done this once or twice, and when I keep on doing something, it happens on command, basically.
So, this is the, specifically, this is the ability, telekinetic armory. So, technically, I can make a weapon. Like,
Yeah.
if I make a gun, it's not an actual gun. It looks like a gun, and it shoots these things that are kind of like bullets. But the inner workings are
But in
like...
reality, it's a sword shaped like a gun that fires small swords shaped like bullets.
And blow up into smaller swords.
But apart from that, I don't use it for that because I'm not actually that good at shooting. But
Yeah.
I can make, because the telekinetic force is visible. It's not like clear stuff necessarily. I make something that physically appears. So, like, I pitched the idea that I could make a version of the hat that goes on my head and can fit, and it was rejected soundly. And so I'm very upset about that.
No, you gotta wear a hat.
But I go to work, and I always keep a lookout for any possibility for me to steal money. And, at the end of the day, I leave work after dealing with nothing but customers and a bank on this planet.
Yeah.
And try to meditate my way back and then get drunk. Not drunk, usually.
You guys meet up at the tub and
That's such a
Drink.
weird sentence. You
guys meet up at the tub and then you drink.
Cheers.
What about anyone else apart from bounty hunting? You two do anything? Get into fights? Oh, your rival.
Nate gets into a lot of fights, I assume.
Nate gets into a lot of fights, but
Particularly with the rival.
But they're like it's mostly like, so there's regulars probably at the tub,
Oh yeah.
and she gets into fights pretty regularly there. And with like the other regulars, it's kind of just like a friendly thing with people that aren't regulars. It's like, fuck you, get out of my bar, go back to your shitty place.
Yeah.
And I feel like how she found out about the bar was she was on a bounty hunting mission and went into the bar for a bounty and like was busy bringing this fucking dude in, like punching his lights out. It's like, hey, actually this place kind of slaps, hold on. And it's like, hey, what's the name of this place? And like, they tell me, I'm like, okay, cool, and then punch the dude.
So
Been punched.
during that that was like your second, maybe your third bounty. Because it's like day one, Nade's gonna pick like 5 bounties, and like, yeah, I'll knock these all out in the day.
I'm bored enough.
And during that, there was a he's some alien, but he is like a mixture of like a bear and like a crustacean.
Oh my god.
And
It's like a Dark Souls crab.
well, like so he's bear / ape like in his appearance, or shape, and then his back and like the outer portion of him or whatever is like chitinous. That's how you say it. He's got like a shell, like an exoskeleton type thing.
Uh-huh.
And he's got like claws that are good for digging. And from what you've heard, his species, like what they do is they like kind of like they armadillo themselves up and they dig into the ground and they'll just like sleep for like years and years and years and years, and then they'll wake up and then they'll just stay awake and constantly doing things, and they're very high strung for years. They'll just be awake. But they're hard to find because they always look like rocks, like when they dig down and everything like that. This one, who dresses like your stereotypical biker, like he's got the leather vest, no sleeves, there's the studs on the shoulders, and he's got a helmet that he wears. He also has a hover speeder like yours, hover bike like yours, except it's got flames on the side, and the handles for it are up here rather than down in a comfortable position. And he's like your friendly rival. Like when you went into the tub, he was the guy that does what you do to people when they first walk into the tub. And he was also going after that bounty. And it is a common sight for the two of you to close in on a bounty at the same time and then fight each other for the right to kill or maim the bounty.
Meanwhile, Techno gets them.
Oh, yeah. Or just like in the process of the two of you fighting, the bounty dies and no one knows what happened, but whoever wins is the one that gets to take the... And you've traded a few back and forth, but for the most part you tend to come out on top with things like this.
I do have a rocket launcher.
Yeah, but you don't want to kill him. He's a good guy. He's good people.
Okay.
Like,
I will punch his lights up.
yes, 100%. Like if the two of you saw each other on the street, you'd make fun of each other, yell at each other, fight, and then go to the tub and drink.
Oh.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's pretty nade.
And it'd be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
It's basically that. I mean,
Like that's just how life is with Axel around.
Techno's just like, I don't get it.
Again, he doesn't sleep. You've never seen him sleep. No one on the planet has ever seen him sleep.
Fucking no.
Just doing
So
bounties
he's just-
24/7.
That's what he says, but he's not, and nobody knows what he does.
You
He
need to
just
advance
kinda,
his social link to learn more.
Yeah. He just kind of is like around, and it's one of those things where like when people are looking for him, they can never find him. But whenever you like hope he doesn't show up, he shows up.
Oh man, I hope he doesn't show up.
shows up.
Has a shotgun and is waiting.
Aha! I fooled you.
He turns his shell back around real quick, like Buddha reverse.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like, oh man, these things are going real great, and then you turn the corner and you get shot with the shotgun and fucking die. And he's just like, ha, got you.
Get shit on, nerd. And then he actually teabags the corpse.
I saw this in an old Earth game.
Yeah. Taryn taught me about this.
Yikes.
No, the teabagging's a universal thing.
It's true. I think Willis would join them in the bars sometimes, not all the time, because he knows how rowdy Nate can get when.
Yeah, and Nate likes to try and use you as a weapon to fight Axel.
Learned that the first time at the bar.
Yeah,
Did not. Nope. Never again.
Techno probably feels like he needs to keep an eye on her.
So,
the big one of the big draws for Willie's is that there's live music that plays there.
Oh.
Nice.
They are alive. I guess you could call it music. Rarely does anyone ever show up there who can play music. The first time you guys showed up there was one of the special occasions where someone just so happened to be able to play music.
Nice.
But like, yeah, since the time you've been here, you think you've maybe seen like 2 other
I could
people.
probably synthesize some music.
Yeah, you
Dubstep.
The
Oh,
two
God,
of
no.
you in your garage have made better music.
It's just him working on a.
We start handing out our
like,
mixtape.
yeah.
It's just it's all the ratcheting sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
If it were a thing, I feel
hardware
like I'd be
store
also
weirdo.
taking like a night course, an online night course or something like that at college to get like my not pilot's degree, but like a ship.
Yeah, no. The closest you could get is owning a ship, being able to pilot it, and then just lying to people that I went to college for.
So instead, every night after the bar, I spend at least 3 hours practicing in the way of the blade.
In your windowsill,
Yep.
all four arms all scrunched in there.
I'm doing it psychically.
No. Here's what happens. Whenever Nate and Techno are not there, like you've just got the place to yourself.
Yeah.
You just like push all of their stuff to the walls, and then you practice, and then you go back into your windowsill, leaving the stuff there. So when everyone gets back or decides to come in, they have to like bring out all of their stuff because you just haphazardly push things.
I imagine Techno doesn't have a lot of things, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
Nate doesn't notice that her shit's pushed to the side. She usually just keeps what she needs on her,
She
which
just
is like
throws shit everywhere.
weaponry, something to hold the weaponry, and a bottle of bitter bite.
I would say because they're sharing Techno and Nate are sharing basically garage.
Yeah.
I probably would be the only other one that's in the part.
You'll go there often. You'll also just because of the type of personality you have, you'll just stay at work and work on things and fall asleep there and wake up and like, oh, there's cookies.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah.
They have bolts in them.
Edible. But
Using that
I
word
wanna say,
liberally, I
the
say.
few times I do make it back to the house, obviously, I'm not committing. I would say, I have, a small room, kind of similar to, not, super similar, but kind of I have a tiny workbench where I have, maybe some pieces there, just on, stuff I bring home for work.
Home project things.
Yeah, but then, off to the side, I have, a dry erase board that I can pull down, and it's just me trying to figure out where and what the numbers mean, and everything else for the eternity. Basically, just
So you've written down all the information you guys know about what happened.
What happened from what we do know and what we may or may not remember. But
which is another thing because
I've walked over and on your thing where the eternity itself is positioned on the board, I've just written an arrow that says belongs to fish.
I'm sure he listens to us. Yeah.
It was a sad day when you had to wipe off the 2 rings. Slightly less of a ship now.
But,
I mean, the important thing is that
But
it's
you
mine.
have heard of it.
Yeah. The rough part is going to be, and you've thought about this, is going to be finding a crew for this ship is going to suck because you're going to need collateral for it.
Well, maybe eventually, if I have strong enough psychic powers, I can
You can
just
just psychically-
make psychic people, make objects. And
Is
have
that
them do it.
what your goal is? Your end goal is to make a psychic person?
No, but the thought has crossed my mind.
Okay.
multiple unseen servants.
Uh,
No need to worry. We're flying half a ship.
yeah. Oh, weaponry. Does everyone have weaponry?
I have something. What do I have? I think I have a pistol.
I feel like it would be pertinent for you
Yeah, I
to
have a laser
I think it
pistol
would be
and a
pertinent
knife.
for you, Techno, to also have a close quarters shotgun or something.
Yeah, probably.
Like you're in the sidecar and Nade drives up right next to a bounty and you just pull the shotgun out and
Yeah.
blow the engine.
yeah,
Nate,
Techno would probably have something like that.
I have my telekinetic swords.
Yeah, you've got your telekinetic stuff.
Nate has a whole host of weaponry. She has a rocket launcher, which is cool. She has a revolver now, which is pretty cool for kind of the
Yeah,
cowboyish
yeah.
kind of look. She of course has her
6
laser
rounds.
axe, but because I got to kind of rebuild the character in a different system, I got to actually be good at fighting now.
Yeah.
And I've taken 2 levels of the focus unarmed combatant, and so my punch hurts more than my laser axe does.
As far as like physical damage, yeah, you can punch things real freaking hard.
Yeah, I'm
But
real good
your
at
laser axe, you have cut open things
Yeah,
with your
I've cut
laser
open
axe.
the laser axe.
It's got utility.
for Utility, scaring people.
Aesthetic.
Like
Uh,
the lights don't work in the garage, so you turn on the laser axe to try and figure out
Yeah.
where you're at.
Turn on the laser axe, it's a torch.
Yeah, yeah.
And she has like these gauntlets that she has made from like scavenging parts from the what is your fucking name?
Willis?
Willis. There we go. I only remember your name as Ratman.
I know.
But
If that trend continues.
Willis's
that's okay.
work. She's like scavenged these gauntlets that have like they cover the knuckles so she can punch things better. It's like a metal plate with bolts sticking out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe it's
Real-
like a character art.
Real Mad Max style.
Yeah.
And you're also you have embraced the fashion of the location.
It was always in my heart. Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah.
honest.
You're
I was
full.
like-
You're full
We got there
duster
and she was like,
hat.
"We're with my
and-
people."
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate is having a fucking amazing time.
Yeah.
in this
Out
planet.
of everyone, the only one who's not had a bad day so far has been Nate.
Yeah. Nate makes others have bad days.
Techno's just kind of,
Yeah.
it's a place.
If you're still wearing your Eternity stuff, it's like it's dirty and you can't quite clean it. Probably won't be able to clean it until you get back on the ship.
I think aesthetically, I mentioned before, like I have a trench coat too.
Okay, yeah, you got like a little duster,
Yeah.
your hat.
But in terms of weaponry, I probably still have the 2 like regular what we consider in our technology regular
Yeah, they're
or whatever they are.
ballistic
Yeah.
weaponry.
And then I have 2 per auto for my personal use, and I have 1 for my ground.
Okay.
So I don't know how many slots. I'm sure I could have made upgrades to it.
Yeah.
That's for we'll worry about
Loosey goosey.
that. I can always do that later.
Yeah. You've got access to
I do have access.
the ability
And
to.
Granny can help me make it too.
Yeah. What you looking at?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were. Yeah, I think. Does everyone have all their stuff written down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it. As far as like catching everyone up to speed. I guess there's the important things to, I guess, remind everyone of specific stuff that happened. So obviously, local amnesiacs, you guys don't remember what you guys don't remember or didn't remember anything about yourselves, but periodically with your time on the Eternity, you guys started getting little bits of things back, and Nade, you've kind of had the most like messy, don't really know what exactly your history is per se. Like as far as you're aware, someone picked you up and tried to turn you into a suicide bomber, and Ace saved your life, and you like saw him as like a kind of a father figure, and like prior to the Eternity would like do anything for him. But now you question those thoughts, especially after you were told about the like kill switch that was basically put into you, to the like shut down command. Techno, you had issues where your body was not synchronized or perfectly meshed with your technological side. Throughout the time that you've spent on the planet here, you've gotten much better at that. You're a lot more interconnected with your tech side
Yeah.
and your human side, but it's a weird thing that shouldn't have been the case. You chalk it up to it's probably Ace's doing, but at the same time, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that it would be Ace's doing, because I don't know, it just seemed like the body was rejecting your technology or just wasn't prepared for it, despite it always being there. It's a weird thing.
All right.
Yeah. Fish, you have bad luck with jobs. And from your memory, you've known nothing but the eternity, and have a deep embedded desire to relish in the freedom of space, the freedom of being the only one on a ship that is only meant for you, that you can fly in the openness of space with no restrictions. And you're a good pilot, and you're a good pilot because your mother periodically would take you to the slum sections to meet with this man who you saw as a uncle or grandfather who had built a flight simulator, and he taught you how to fly on that. And Willis, you discovered that your name was not Ace, and in fact that was the name of the person who killed your wife.
Yes.
And you are on a mission of vengeance. You also found a case that had a drone in it that had the name Willis on it, which you believe to be yours.
Yes, and also a handy dandy police badge on the side.
Yes, yes. The co-pilot for the ship, who was helping you all out, relatively speaking, as much as he apparently could have, because he was attached to the bridge, turned out to, it all was a ruse, that Sir Francis Wilson, the creator of the Eternity, had at some point transferred his consciousness into the co-pilot, and then proceeded to study all of you, and studied the effects that the song was having on all of you. A rendition of Blue Moon would play across the ship's radio, and all of you would pass out for some reason. At the end of your time on the Eternity, the last time you all passed out was due to him manually playing the song on the radio.
God, just imagine. You guys stopped Nate from murdering his ass so many times.
Did we?
I mean,
I think there was
We
only
said-
Here's the thing. The first time you met him, assuredly, they stopped you from killing him. Because you did kill every robot you came across until they could speak. In which case, you wanted to kill them even more, but then everyone was like, it's not worth it.
I was like, I can't now, and I'm sad about that. And I hate how they sound.
But yes, he made all of you pass out. He stole, seemingly sent the ship into some direction towards this planet, and at some point took one of the shuttles and left, leaving you guys to drift. You don't know how long you guys were out for, but when you awoke, the planet was within sight, and while you were on the planet, there was a military faction that was also there, who was kind of pseudo-supporting the local authority. They are the Empire of the Burning Star, which is some faction you're not fully aware of. They have everyone wore like black with like thin gold trim to it and everything like that. And Techno, you were all of you had been like tested for like, you know, maybe you're bringing weird diseases with you, but you had been your tech had been scrubbed to see if there was anything dangerous on there, and there was. Ace was in you.
Oh.
He was in you.
Oh, boy.
And during that,
You didn't even take it to dinner.
Right.
well, I mean, not that you remember.
Oh. Oh, dear.
Yeah, local amnesiacs.
He's a fuck boy.
And during that interaction there, the Decker that was taking a look, Ace made the jump to him and seemingly got off planet. So he's gone, and that's when you were able to sit down with everybody and explain absolutely everything without risk of having your brain turned off.
Yeah. I would like that not to happen.
Yeah. You also stopped a living... Well, no, you didn't... You killed a living apocalypse that was never supposed to form. But whatever happened on the Eternity, it did form because of that. Yeah, and you guys are all waiting for the ship to be cleared of contraband and cleared of stuff that you don't own. And when it's all done, which the team that's working on has been working remarkably fast. You've been told that it actually won't be that long until you guys will get access to the ship again. So you're all just kind of waiting for that day. Well, maybe not all of you. Nade might want to stay. But you're kind of waiting for that day to when you have some freedom off planet and can do whatever you want.
Well, I'm sure she'll be eager to jump on once we remind her of Ace.
Yeah.
What's this planet called? You said it doesn't have a name?
It doesn't really have a name. Everyone that's come here just calls it something different.
Nate calls it dust.
Yeah. You can call it whatever you want. It's...
I call it Tatooine.
like,
I call it Arrakis.
a ton of people show up here and think they're the first person to ever, like, discover this planet because it's so far out there that, like, there aren't any maps for this stuff. Mm-hmm. There's no, like... Nobody knows what the planet is officially called, and it's officially called, like, probably a million different things.
It's claimed with like 40 different...
Yeah. And that's the way a lot of planets are.
Marked for destruction by these 12 empires, marked for colonization by these 12, you know, that sort of thing.
So, you guys all have had more dreams about, like, aspects of your past. None of them truly significant. The one that would probably be the most pertinent to talk about is Nade's, because Nade, you keep on having seemingly different experiences, where, like, in sometimes you'll dream or have memories of, like, doing something with Ace that at the time you felt was super important, and, like, he wanted it done, you wanted him to be happy with you. Then at other times it seems like it's further along and Ace is, like, not there at all, and it's almost like it's contradicting your own timeline of, like, events.
After a while of being on this planet and just vibing and doing my own thing, you know, getting a routine set up, having my own base of operations and everything, I think Nade would not tell anybody about the dreams or memories and just fucking ignore them.
Yeah, this place is super easy to ignore that kind of... There's enough going on here that it's real easy to ignore. anything like that.
Nate's like, I'm done with that shit.
You had you had
cool now.
one too many slug gun, and so your wild dreams, or maybe it was a good haul or whatever, and you had someone to drink as a reward for yourself, but you're only half work, so it's rough. Yeah, Techno, you are remembering your you're starting to remember that like you used to be connected with like a bunch of different like deckers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
hackers.
I would have figured as much.
You were within that sphere of people, very Matrixy, Neo kind of thing. And you remember why, like, Ace wasn't, like, connected to you for any particular reason. You were literally supposed to just be
You just needed some
carrier while he was on the ship. So, like, you had no personal connection with him. He hired out you. There's a group of your friends or whatever, group of people. Not 100% certain if they were your friends or not.
acquaintances.
Yeah. But with the one consistency with all of your guys' dreams or memories is that they all seem they seem more like dreams than memories. And it's one of those things, while it's happening, you notice like inconsistencies of like stuff not being what it's actually supposed to be, like a couch not being a couch in your peripheral vision or something. Just weird
That couch
things.
is a cow.
But when you wake up, they kind of like they aren't like that. And it sometimes it is random things like that where it's like stuff's not what it's supposed to be, or that like it's just that's not how things function, or like that person was a different person or something like that. When you wake up again, it's very easy to ignore all of those kinds of things. But that is a consistency that all of you have had with your memories. Has been this. There is a seed of doubt in whether or not you could even trust them. I'm going to look at this. I can't tell how long we've been recording because the thing isn't, because Discord is.
When did we start?
So we've hit an hour. We're almost at an hour and a half. Is there anything else that anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything they want to throw in there? Some spice, some names, some cool tricks that they do with their skateboard.
Spinning's a cool trick.
I was waiting for it.
I mean, not much. Nate works on her explosives and weapons and motorcycle herself, her hovercycle. She also probably like plays darts and cards and all the normal bar stuff at the bar.
I actually do kind of like the idea of Techno like synthesizing his own music.
Yeah, as you get more in touch with your human side, you want to make music.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's good enough for everyone's characters are done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone's characters are done. You guys are pretty much up to speed on everything that I wanted to tell you all about. I suppose thanks for listening to us do this.
Yeah.
This is a cool session 0, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hit you guys with some of the big stuff.
Please don't hit me.
Do it. Hit him.
Can't wait till we start. Can't wait till we start, and then I have to make a new character because Nate just doesn't want to leave.
Well, you might want to leave.
Will make you want to leave.
How do you know the good times are going to last?
Oh, that's ominous.
Well, I'll just punch whatever stuff.
I'm always ready to leave.
In fact, I'm leaving right now. Fish is slowly levitating.
I'm not that good yet.
Yeah, yet. Oh, you totally have developed some technique of using your moat in conjunction with driving to like pull off like super tight turns or whatever. You like push the tail end or something.
Like ramps that I can.
Yeah, you make little ramps or you boost.
You're just driving.
It's the nitro.
Yeah.
You're driving them like a big hand
You
appears,
can almost hit 20 miles an hour.
and you like throw the cart up and kick flip the cart with the big hand.
Yeah.
No, I'm always. Whenever I'm driving on sand, I'm always using telekinetic force to generate like a road in front of me that immediately disappears as soon as I get past it.
Like I said, thing only really works on the in town. I imagine, I suppose you could probably do that. It'd probably be difficult to.
I would probably have to commit like 3 effort.
Yeah.
One for creating one for each tire, and for each of the front 2 tires.
Then also you'd have to create their space within, like relative to where the sand is, right?
Not necessarily.
Something to think about, though.
Ooh, I could save on effort if I just generated telekinetic force wheels.
But then you'd have to take your normal wheels off.
Exactly. And if I ever lost
Well, if
concentration,
you just park it outside, you'll lose the wheels pretty quick.
It'd be like in those old shows where it's like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't leave the car unattended. Yeah, we'll get someone literally walk back out if the car is just like all the tires are stolen and everything like that.
Yeah, on cinder blocks.
But then Fish is like, joke's on you. I can make my own tires.
Joke's on you, I wanted those cinder blocks.
I wanted those cinder blocks.
I now have a deadly weapon.
4 wheels, 4 arms, 4 cinder blocks.
Nate's
This
like, hey,
Sunday.
I found this.
Sunday.
Nate's like, hey, I found this movie called Revenge of the Sith. Why the fuck didn't you do this?
do what?
The spinning, it's a good trick.
I mean, you spend like a day trying to learn how to spin.
That was Phantom Menace.
What?
Spinning. It's a good trick. It's Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
You said
Revenge of the
Revenge of the
Yeah,
Sith.
shut up.
Well,
I thought
you said
version
Revenge
Oh,
of
is-
the Sith
yeah.
first because of
Backstroke of the
Grievous.
West.
Yeah. The bootleg version
Backstroke
has
of the
all
West.
the...
Yeah.
The bootleg version is literally all 3 movies from the prequels, but it's just the meme scenes.
Nice.
Everybody is good.
On that note.
Everybody is indeed good.
Yep.